Welcome back, everyone, to Sip and Spill. We are your hosts. I'm Anna.
And I'm Nikki.
And this is our weekly show where we invite you all to sit down with us, grab a cocktail, and talk about all things life, love, pop culture, all that good stuff. We are back.
It's been a long time. I'm nervous. I forgot what to do.
Why does it feel like it's been a month since we've been here? It's been only a couple of weeks. Nikki and I were snowed in last week, as you probably know. If you live in the tri-state area, we've had a lot of snow. It's been cold. Life's been busy. Things have come up, and we had to take a little pause last week, but we are back. We appreciate everyone sticking with us, tuning into some old episodes. We've had some people over the last week, again, just saying how much they enjoy the podcast every week and looking for us and listening to us chit-chat every week. So we are back. We're here. Regular scheduled program continues on. But all that to say...
And this is the longest Anna and I have been away from each other.
Literally since the pod started. I have not seen you. We've communicated here and there. You probably had to send me a carrier pigeon at some point because I've been under the weather and out of pocket, as they say in the corporate world. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a crazy month. January is off to an insane start. It's not slowing down. But nevertheless, we're taking the time to do our podcast, to sip and spill with you all. We can't let the fans down.
No.
So we're back.
No, we're back.
We're back. But Nikki had a fun weekend. Nikki, let's catch up. What did you do this weekend?
This weekend, I celebrated my friend's birthday in Atlantic City. It was very fun. 2 nights we stayed. It was very eventful. I was done after one night. I told my friends, I'm like, I'm going to go home tomorrow. They're like, no, you're not. After a while, I'm just like, I got to get out of here. Got to go. The anxiety starts kicking in. And I'm like, I got to go see my dolls. But she was fine. She was hanging with her siblings. So Dolly has 2 sisters that are my best friend's pups. So they get to see each other whenever I go away. Dolly gets to hang out with them. So she had her own vacation. That's what I just kept telling myself. I'm like, she's on vacation. I can't disrupt her vacation. I got to stay. So I stayed. Very eventful, very fun. Ate some good food. We ate at Carmine's.
Ooh, love Carmine's.
Oh, it was amazing. We filled up on the bread, of course. How could you not?
You can't go wrong at Carmine's.
Oh.
A big plate the size of your head of chicken parm. Mm-hmm. What's better than that?
Yeah, chicken parm. We got vodka, penne vodka. What else did we get? Lemon chicken, the chicken franchise. Yum. With some rigatone.
Nice.
Yeah. It was very good. Very good.
Nice.
When you just I guess that was my feeling. I was like, I have to leave. I also get that feeling when I'm out. Mm-hmm. And when when 2 o'clock starts rolling around, it's like I'm about to turn into a freaking pumpkin. And I'm like, I got to get out of here.
2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm out and, I don't think the club's closed till 4 over there.
Yeah.
So we're dancing, we're at Ocean, we're having a great time. The DJ was super hot. Morton, I think his name was. Hot
I don't know.
DJ. He had a man bun, gorgeous. So all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I look at the time, it's 2 o'clock, and in my mind, I'm like, yep, time for bed, gotta get out of here. So yeah, I asked around. I'm like, anybody want to go back? No. Okay. So I go back. I'm sleeping, and then all of a sudden I wake up probably at 4:30 in the morning to my friend right in front of my face. She's like, Nikki. One of our friends happened to be dancing on the dance floor, and someone knocked into her, and she twisted her ankle.
Oh no!
So she wound up in the hospital.
Oh shit!
But I was just glad that I was not awake for that, because my anxiety would have been like through the roof, and I would have been like freaking out. And if I saw that push, I get in there.
That person would not be living at the moment.
Right? I'm like, I would have to do something.
One girl would have been in the hospital because she twisted her ankle. Nikki would have been in jail because she would have killed somebody.
Exactly. That's how it goes. So I'm glad I got out of there at the perfect time. But she's healing. She's better. Thank God. Nothing crazy. She's fine. But yeah, so it was eventful, but we all made it out alive. We're good. And no more AC trips for a little while.
Yeah.
But for those that are being very, very good this month with your dry January, we have another mocktail here for you with today's theme, which is, our episode is called Mojitos with a Side of Mel. So we are talking about Mel Robbins, who is an amazing speaker, motivational speaker. She just released a podcast with, who's that couple?
She was recently on. Yes, she was on the Skinny Confidential recently. She has her own podcast, but she guest starred on the Skinny Confidential recently.
There's all buzz about this amazing podcast that she did. So we will be talking about that today. Mm-hmm. But our mocktail today is called the Mellow Mojito. Really good. We're back with the Mingle. This is the Mingle brand mocktail with a cucumber melon mojito. Mm-hmm. Let's try it.
Cheers.
Cheers, Anna.
I love a mojito.
Me too.
Delicious.
That's really good.
Delicious.
You get all the flavors in there. Delish.
Very refreshing.
Yeah, too. Right? I feel like summer. Like this is a really good summer when the sun is just beating down on you at the beach, feeling refreshed.
We'll buy again.
100%.
All right. Well, as Nikki said, we are podcasters talking about another podcaster, talking about a podcast she was on. It's a lot of podcast talk today. But we are talking about Mel Robbins, and I feel like Mel is really having a moment. She
had the Let Them theory.
Again, she's got her own podcast. She's, as Nikki said, a motivational speaker and author. She's been around for a while, I would say.
The Let Them book she released, which I did not get to read yet.
Yes, I have not either. Would love to.
But my neighbor Donna, our number one fan.
We love Donna. Shout out to Donna.
We love her. I love her. She actually introduced me to the Let Them theory. So Donna is my in-house therapist here in my building. And
that makes me your external therapist?
Yes. Anna's the external. We have an in-house therapist. Yes. No. Anna has not been replaced. But yes, she's the in-house therapist. So when I first moved here, I was just so overwhelmed, and like everything was crazy, and my job was crazy, and just so many things. And I was always venting to Donna, especially about my crappy boss that I had. And she taught me about the Let Them theory, and she sent me tons of Mel Robbins videos about the Let Them theory. And I wish I had it. It's in my room. But she got me a sign that says Let Them. It's a little desk canvas sign, and I adore it. And I look at it every day because let them.
Yeah. Let them. It's true.
So let's dive in a little bit about the Let Them theory.
Yeah. So, I think, and you can probably speak to this a little bit more, but, the Let Them theory is essentially that. It's just if you're worried that someone's going to judge you for something you're doing maybe, or someone's treating you wrong, or someone's basically doing something wrong to you and interfering with your life in some way, it's that moment of letting go where you just say, let them do it, because at the end of the day, I am going to come out on top. I can't control people. I can't, sway people to act one way or another, or think a certain way about me, change their perception of me, etc. So you just have to kind of let them do what they want to do, because at the end of the day, you know yourself the best out of anybody. You know what you're capable of. You know what you're going to do with your life. And no one has that control over you to change that. As much as they will try.
Right.
No
and
one
there's
has that.
So many people that let them tattooed on them. Mm-hmm. So they've let them on themselves, on their wrists and whatnot, that they can just look at it every single day. And it's true. I mean, for me, I'm somebody that worries so much about what other people think, what other people are saying about me. I'm extremely sensitive. So if I hear something, I'm like, why? Because we run with good intentions.
Yeah.
And I think when you hear something negative about yourself, or somebody perceives you in a negative light, or has a certain opinion about you, it's hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I take it to the next level, and I make myself physically and mentally sick over these types of people that will come into my life and do that. So yeah, let them. That's exactly what it is.
And there's a lot of power in relinquishing control and that worry and that anxiety over, you know, what people might be saying about you or doing to you or anything like that. You know, like it does take a lot of strength and resilience to do that, which you have, and I've told you time and time again you have, but there's really, it comes down to that as well, that self-empowerment of, again, letting them do what they have to do, because at the end of the day, like, nothing's going to get in the way of what you want. Something else that, you know, Mel talks about a lot of, you know, she talked about on this episode of The Skinny Confidential is we are the ones getting in the way of what we want. Nobody else is.
Correct.
We all have goals that we set. We all have dreams that we set out to accomplish. And it can be challenging to reach those goals. And we can feel like there are a lot of things getting in the way of that. And we can blame it on, you know, any kind of circumstance. There's a lot of days where I don't go to the gym and I blame the weather for it. It's too cold. It's too rainy.
Or
it's
work.
all of these things.
You're
or
tired
work.
from work.
I'm tired. I've got too much going on. I can't focus on going to the gym. I got to focus on work. We can come up with a million excuses as to why we don't do the things that we want to do. But at the end of the day, it's us getting in our own way. It's not anything else. And so she has this really great method that has
Another game changer.
It's been blowing up on my TikTok, at least. Shout out, TikTok's back.
Anna's happy.
I'm happy. We were gone for a minute, but we're back. But she has this method, and it's called the 5-second method. So, essentially, how Mel Robbins got her start, for those who don't know, is she and her husband were in a lot of trouble in 2007, 2008 when the housing crisis hit. I think she said they were like $800,000 in debt. And they, you know, just had like, she felt like she was in this hole and she had no way of getting out of it. And she didn't want to get out of bed. She didn't want to work. She didn't want to take care of her kids. Like she didn't want to do anything. It was just so difficult to like get through the days because she was in such a depression and had so much anxiety over this, understandably so. But she kind of discovered this method, this 5-second method, where as soon as you wake up in the morning, pretend that you're a rocket ship and literally count down from 5 seconds to launch yourself out of bed. So you sit there, wake up, you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you get out of bed automatically. You jump out. And she said, you know, anxiety is highest in the morning when we first wake up. And so by doing something like that, like just immediately getting yourself out of bed, you're already getting over that first hurdle of, I don't want to get up. I don't want to start the day. I don't want to do anything today. Like you're already one step closer to getting things done, completing your day just by getting out of bed. And, you know, she has a lot of other methods and practices and rituals she recommends doing in the morning. A lot of really good stuff like, you know, as soon as you get up out of bed, go outside, walk around for 10 minutes. Really like get that fresh air, wake yourself up, like that movement helps wake your body up, because you get out of bed. I mean, I know I get out of bed and I'm still am half asleep. Like I could easily sleep standing up if I wanted to. So, get out of bed, go walk around for 10 minutes, get some fresh air. Only drink water for the first, I think it's like half hour before, first half hour you're up. Because that's another thing. Caffeine first thing in the morning like that, especially on an empty stomach, can heighten your anxiety. So she has all of these recommendations of things you can do to start like a really good, healthy morning routine. But, this 5-second method is really where it starts. That just immediate getting out of bed, right, getting the day started.
And she says that you need tools, and I think we do need tools, because you can say, well, it's discipline over motivation, but I mean, I think we need tools to go with the discipline, and this tool is really good.
Yeah. Another thing she says is don't go on your phone the first, however many minutes you're up, which I'm very guilty of. My phone is always...
Oh, yeah, me too.
Right next to me.
Since I've heard this, I've made a conscious effort to not go on my phone, play with Dolly. I think that it's really real of her to like acknowledge that there are so many people out there that have struggles with getting out of bed, because I feel like you go on TikTok and it's a day in my life, or get ready with me in the morning, and it's like this dream of this like girl just waking up and she's washing her face and doing her skincare, and it's like, girl, no, like it's not that fucking easy. So it's like when you're watching this, you're like, wow, what's wrong with myself? What's wrong with my life that I can't fucking pull myself out of bed every day? Like I literally always tell people, like especially when I was so miserable with my life months ago, I literally had to peel myself out of bed. Like literally peel myself out of bed, because I was so fucking miserable. And still, like there's still today, like I'm very happy, but there are days where I'm just like, not today. Like
it's hard.
I don't want to fucking do this today.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. And I think also it works for other things, not just launching yourself out of bed, but she also said like making a decision. Like if you have to make a decision, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Also, like, for instance, when I was in Atlantic City and I wanted to leave, normally I would wait till somebody wanted to leave with me. In my head, I'm like, okay, what if somebody follows me when I walk out? What if somebody tries to talk to me and won't leave me alone? Like, what if I get lost and I can't find the room? Like, all of these things when I just wanted to fucking go to bed. And I almost, like, didn't leave, like, and I probably would have stayed there, but I was just like, literally looked at the elevator and I was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I was like, all right, I'm leaving, good night, thanks guys, and I left. Even with, again, I've told you guys in the past, like it was a struggle for me to go to the grocery store. Like I would get so much anxiety about just like leaving the house to go to the grocery store. Like it was painful that I would just get my groceries delivered. Like I just didn't want to deal with it. So now, like, it's like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going out and we're going to go. So little things like that you're just forcing yourself and you feel better after.
Yeah, you do, 100%. It's, we like to be productive. I would say most humans like to be productive. Most humans like to feel like we accomplished something during the day. And, it's like you said, something else Mel Robbins says is that you don't need necessarily discipline to get these things done throughout the day. You just need these tools. So these things like the 5-second method and other ways to just kind of push yourself forward, helps you even do the littlest things. And, you've said this before too, but like doing really small things like that throughout the day makes you feel accomplished, makes you feel like you had a good day, makes you feel like you were productive and all of these things that like in turn will help you feel better and feel confident and happy and all of these things we want.
So there's also another influencer, I would say, or athlete that I follow. His name is Crew Mahoney, and his bio says been running every day since June 13th, 2018. So every morning he wakes up early, and he just goes for a run, and it's like pitch black out in his runs, and he's always saying some motivational things, but like he'll put the timestamp in the caption, so like 6:04 a.m. 2,421 days in a row, and people will comment as well, like that what day that they're on of running consistently. And sometimes he'll say like, didn't want to, but I did it, didn't want to, but I did it. And like, I wouldn't think that he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you think that people that would actually wake up at that time and do it want to actually do it.
Right.
But there are people that go to the gym every day and they don't want to, but they do it. And yeah, again, like, I think that's another tool, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're hitting the gym. That, you know, you're not just going to sit here and be like, because the longer I sit with my own thoughts and the longer I procrastinate, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Especially when I get home from work. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go to the gym, get the workout in, and you feel a million times better. So I definitely am looking forward to seeing what other tools she brings to the table.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, and so far it's helped me a ton.
Yeah. I think, you know, something too that I liked what she said was that in terms of tools, like, we are living in an age where there is so much information out there. There's YouTube, there's podcasts, there's AI, you know, like, if you want to learn how to do something, she said, just go on YouTube, find a 15-minute video on it and watch that, or go on AI, ask ChatGPT that. Like, we have so much information available to us at our fingertips, and there are formulas out there for successful podcasts, for successful Instagram pages, TikTok pages, like all of these things. Like, there are people out there who have perfected ways to go viral and, you know, all of this. And it's obviously, the evidence is out there because we see it. But what she said is that people are too afraid to use the formulas that are out there because they're worried about what other people will think about them.
Right. The fear of judgment.
Yep.
Again. And there's a lot of bullies out there.
There are.
So for me, I feel like going to the gym and just doing little daily tasks, such as going to the grocery store, doing laundry. And that's another thing she talked about, is like those boring tasks that she has to do, that it's just like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going to get it done.
Right.
So that's what I would be using this tool for. Anna, what would you be using this method for?
Well, I'm definitely using it to try and get out of bed in the morning because it's winter, it's dark out, it's cold. The last thing I want to do is be up at 5 a.m., whether that's to go to the gym or go to work, whatever. I normally don't start my day that early, but I really am working to be the type of person that wakes up early, gets the workout done early, has some time to, you know, have some breakfast, chill out before work starts, and my day is just completely consumed by that. So trying that out to get myself up earlier in the morning. I've also been, something else that not necessarily Mel talks about, but she kind of did. She talked about like having your alarm like on your phone be in like the bathroom or somewhere else. So you obviously have to get up out of bed to go snooze it, and then by then you're already up and like you might as well get the day started. So I've been doing that with my alarm clock. I have one of those alarm clocks that like lights up when the time goes off. It's supposed to be like the sun rising and whatnot. It's a Hatch knockoff. But I used to have it right on my nightstand, and you know, it's just so easy to roll on over, hit the snooze button, and go back to sleep for 2 hours. So now I've put it on the other side of the room. That way I have to get up out of bed to turn it off. And, you know, by then I'm like, all right, well, I'm up. I might as well get dressed, go to the gym, start the day. And so I've been trying to implement things like that into my daily routine. I'm really trying not to look at the phone when I wake up first thing in the morning, because that's another thing. I just feel like we're on our phone so much throughout the day anyway. Like, we all deserve at least 10 minutes in the day to be off of our phone, especially when we first wake up in the morning. So I think it all comes back to that, just giving yourself, like, that time to be at peace for a little bit before the craziness of day-to-day life gets to you. And so I really like that that's a big part of her philosophy and her methods. And, you know, I think she's doing it all right, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Like, she's really, like, built a lifestyle that is definitely achievable. It just takes a little bit of work and a little bit of consistency.
I really think it's the phones.
The phones are destroying
us back.
Yes.
Making us sad, making us depressed so much. I have the screen time thing on my phone, and I've set app limits, and I ignore the app limits.
I do too.
Time and time and time and time again. But it's terrible. I mean, especially like going into work, I'm looking at my phone. Sometimes I might take a nap. But then you're on your computer screen all day at work. So then coming home, I'm sitting on the ferry and I'm like, okay, like, let me look outside the window. And then I caught this beautiful sunset the other day and I took so many pictures of it. And like, I looked around and I was like, is anybody seeing this?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
There was one woman next to me that was taking pictures of the sunset with me. But like, you know, take a look.
Yeah.
I mean, I try like every day to like look out into the world. I mean, even like if there's like a car ride, you're always on your phone. You don't look out and see or notice anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, we definitely need to detach ourselves from the screens more this year. I think that's a big practice I want to put into my life more over the next few months. But to your point, it's hard. You know, we work in corporate settings where we do have to be on some kind of device most of the day. We're on virtual meetings, we're researching things, we're emailing constantly, you know, like we're very attached to it. And a lot of people have jobs now that are like that. It's, you know, unless you're in some kind of occupation, like you're a civil servant, you're a cop, you're a firefighter, where you're constantly, you know, there's some sort of action going on. You're always on the move. You've always got something else that needs to be done. Or, you know, you're in construction, you're outside, you're doing manual labor all the time. Like, a lot of us are just constantly on these screens. And it's just such a different lifestyle than like what our parents had growing up, and obviously what their parents had. So we're really like some of the first generations living these types of lives and careers and just constantly sitting behind a screen. I mean, we're sitting behind screens right now. We're filming this podcast and we're literally behind computers and my phone is recording us, and you know, we're just like, technology really has taken over everything that we do. So, you know, whatever few minutes out of the day you can give yourself to be off of the phone, doing something else, occupying your mind elsewhere, you know, do it. We encourage you to do it. We will be trying to do it a lot more. But I think, you know, again, we're really loving Mel at the moment. Definitely, if you haven't listened to her before, check out her podcast, check out her interview with The Skinny Confidential. You know, try out some of these methods. Tell us in the comments, what are you trying out of Mel's? Are you going to try the 5-second method? Are you just trying to utilize some more of these tools that we have at our disposal that we don't use enough? You know, tell us what you feel like is worth implementing into your life.
I also wanted to say, which I forgot to mention earlier, was the ChatGPT, like Create My Perfect Life. Did you ever try it?
No.
So you go into ChatGPT and you basically tell it your goals. So what you want maybe to become, what you want your day to typically look like, and ChatGPT will come out with like, okay, this is how you're starting your day, this is what you're doing, this is like, these are all the things, and it will spit back at you like what your like dream life is going to look like as you do these things. So that is another amazing tool that you can incorporate. I did it like maybe like a month ago, and some tips that it gave me was like, you're going to wake up, you're going to sit for 5 minutes, you're going to think about what you're grateful for, you're going to journal, you're going to go to the gym, you're like all of these things. And I was like, that's a perfect woman. Yeah. If she could do that, that's a perfect woman. Yeah. We're working on her, but at least you can set the foundation and work on that. Yes. And you get a starting point with the tools that we have available to us.
Yeah. That's it. All we can do is try. And try we are. And, you know, it's like our friend Jamie said on our podcast earlier this month. You know, this is all our first time being on this earth. We got to go easy on ourselves. We got to give ourselves grace. But if you want to make a change in your life, make the change. With you. Starts with you. I think we can be motivational speakers one day, Nikki.
You, not me.
I think we're both doing a good job.
Oh, speaking of your little TikTok, I cannot believe how many people, influencers, came out saying, oh, well, now that we're all gonna die, like, basically, like, ratting on themselves about how fake of fucking people that they are. Yeah. Oh, those coffees that I made every morning, I didn't actually drink that. The workouts that I was recording for you, I didn't actually do them. Those fucking people are the people that make other people depressed. Yep. And those are the ones that I was talking about, like that they wake up and like the world is amazing and they make their coffee and they go to their lawn and they start doing their little yoga and they record it. Like this girl that I'm thinking of like literally did all of this shit and she basically said it was all fake. It was all just for TikTok.
Yeah. There were a lot
That's a crime. That's criminal.
There were a lot of crazy reveals on the day before TikTok was banned for less than 24 hours. There were some crazy reveals. I can't think off the top of my head of any other crazy ones I saw, but it was a lot of what you said, like people faking their runs. You know, I follow now all of these people training for marathons and half marathons, or they're just running for fun, and they're all like, they fake their runs.
That's also another thing that I don't like actually like about TikTok is like, you know, when they say like, oh, post a pic or it didn't happen. It's kind of like that. Like, oh, document it, share it to the world. Yep. And like see what they have to say about it. And like 9 times out of 10, people are going to say some negative fucking shit about it. That's just like irrelevant because they're probably a troll behind a screen. Like, what, like, why isn't like what your friends and family clapping for you enough? I mean, again, like maybe some people don't have that and they have to rely on strangers in the internet, but it's just like,
it's a fair point. I honestly never thought of it that way. Like, they're like, people don't have enough validation from people they actually know. They have to go to strangers for validation as well. Like you said, that's probably not the case with some people. You know, everyone has different circles and situations in life. And so I think that's part of TikTok's popularity is that people do really feel a sense of community on the app with the followings they build and the folks they engage with and all of that great stuff. But I do agree with you that there's a lot of phony people out there that at this point are really just doing it for the likes and the money and the brand deals and all of that. That's the world of influencing. That's how it's been for a while now. I think just TikTok kind of multiplied it by 100. And
I'll never forget, like, years and years and years ago, I don't know who it was. I think it was like Guy Fieri. And there was like an interview, and he was like, I think he was in like Chili's commercials. And then there was like an interview or like something, like maybe TMZ caught it. And he was like, oh, I don't like Chili's, or I never ate at Chili's, or something like that. But he was like the face of Chili's at the time.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on this. I'm not sure if it was actually Guy Fieri, but this was something. But now it's just like, do you really think that these people that are advertising all these stupid products off of TikTok Shop even actually use them religiously?
No. But that's, again, that's another marketing dilemma. I don't know what the word is that you want to call it. But that's just, I feel like, another thing that's been a marketing thing for years, even before social media blew up, is like, how authentic are people, really? 9 times out of 10, like you said, these people aren't going to be authentic. But I feel like there's been a lot of instances where it's either a celebrity or an influencer, or somebody is like putting their face on a brand, on a product, and you know, you run to buy it because you think, oh, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me, let's go spend money on it. And then it turns out they never tried it. They tried it once.
I don't think I swear, I don't think I've ever been influenced to buy something from somebody.
I have.
Tell us more, because I seriously can't think of anything.
Well, I mean, the TikTok Shop is really getting me, and like when I see these, not even influencers, just people that are posting about what they buy on the TikTok Shop, and they have the link right there. I'm like, I gotta see about this. And I don't buy everything. I'm not, getting a delivery from the TikTok Shop every week. But once in a while, there's something that catches my eye, and I'm like, ooh, like I could really use that. I've never seen that before. Like, I gotta have it. And so, like, I'll purchase something once in a while from TikTok Shop that an influencer.
What was your last purchase off of TikTok Shop?
My last purchase off of TikTok Shop. Well,
I've never purchased off of TikTok Shop, by the way.
Well, Nikki's here bashing influencers. I'm trying to become one. And so I bought a little suction cup thing that you stick your phone on. It's a magnetic one.
I've seen that.
So you just stick it on, and then the phone, it has the MagSafe thing, so you could put the phone on it, and then you could record. It stretches out, so you can get all the angles and rotate it and this and that. So I bought that off of the TikTok Shop.
Okay, we love.
And so I've been using that a little bit to make some content.
Product recently that I saw was this food scale. And this guy squirted Chick-fil-A sauce all over the food scale. Wow. And he was like, look, all the calories. You get your macros, you get this and that. And I'm like, holy fuck. How the fuck does it know it's Chick-fil-A sauce? Oh my God, this is magical. How is this happening? And I was like, this, it's probably fake. I don't know. In my head, I was like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
How did this know that on the scale was Chick-fil-A sauce? It's probably because I'm dumb, blonde. But another video that I saw about this exact food scale showed that in order for it to know what the fuck you're putting on the scale, you have to scan the packaging first. Makes 100 times more sense than what I was thinking, that this guy just squirted and it magically knew there's Chick-fil-A sauce on my scale.
I would have thought the same thing, though.
I was like, what kind of sorcery is this? This is crazy.
The magic Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah. But yeah, so you scan, apparently, I guess he would have scanned the Chick-fil-A bottle and then squirted it, and then it came up with the macros and stuff. I don't like counting calories. No. I don't like doing any of that. But so I was not influenced by that because I just don't want to get into that trap of counting my calories or doing any of that again. But
were you ever into the makeup gurus on YouTube? Were you in that phase?
Guys, look at my face. I do not have a stitch of makeup on. My face is so fucking red. I do not wear makeup. But no. Well, I never was. What's the Michaela from Boston?
Well, I'm talking about even before her, YouTube days. So back in the day, for those who know, I used to be in this group of people, but there were
Bethany Moda?
No, her I don't know. She probably was, but I don't know her. There was Tati. She was the glam life guru on YouTube. Okay. Jeffree Star, Manny MUA.
Yes, I know him.
There was just a whole group of makeup YouTubers that did their tutorials and their product reviews, and this was like the height of YouTube. I feel like this was when people were doing vlogs all the time, and it was so popular, and it was just like there was no TikTok yet. Like YouTube was the TikTok, and I used to sit there all the time and just wait for all of these people to post their reviews and their hauls, and oh my god, the PR box hauls stacked up to the ceiling, all the PR packages they would get from makeup brands, huge packages of makeup in every single shade and variety they had. I was obsessed with it. I didn't buy it. That's my thing, is like I will live through them. I never bought any of those products because I'm not a big makeup person either. But
well, that's like kids now will watch unboxing videos of toys that I'm sure they beg their parents to get, and they probably never see the toys. But, just to sit there and watch, my nephew watches Miss Rachael play with a bunch of toys, and he loves watching her play with all of these little chickens and cows and figurines and stuff. It's so funny. But yeah, you know what? I watched on YouTube when I was younger singing videos all the time. Okay. All the time. Every singing person that was on there. Like Christina Grimmie was one. Do you know her?
Yeah, I remember her. I remember what happened to her. Oh my God.
What a sad story. I loved Christina Grimmie. I actually bought a keyboard because of her, because she used to sing and play the keyboard at the same time. I loved her voice. Her covers were amazing. And then she was doing a meet and greet, and somebody that was waiting in line at this meet and greet actually killed her.
Yeah.
Which was so tragic. I still cannot believe it. Very tragic. But yeah, I was into the singing videos. I thought that one day I was going to be a singer. I thought I was going to be on the big stage one day. It just didn't happen.
It's all right. I thought, I'm going to tell you, from the age of probably 10, I thought I was going to be a YouTuber. And like, I had such
We should have collabed back then.
I know. I don't know why we didn't. But I just used to, you know what it was? It was because all of these young people, these 20-somethings, were getting on YouTube. They were getting popular. They were making content. They were getting the brand deals. Like, all of this stuff was happening, and they were blowing up, and they were getting millions of subscribers. And they all would move to California, live in LA. Yeah. I don't know. They probably were in shitty apartments that they could barely afford with their brand deal money. But they were all in California, and they would all like be friends with each other, and they would make vlogs together of going out and just doing like, shopping or dinner or just like day in my life stuff, like all of that. And it, for some reason, looked like the most so glamorous life to me. It was like, oh my God, like these are just random people that came from like Ohio or Florida or, random parts of the country. And they made these videos, and they learned how to edit, and they learned how to, get good at makeup or, I don't know, gaming or like all of these things. And they made it. They made it to California. Yeah. And they again, like it's just something about that. I think it goes back to what I was saying before about like how TikTok gives a lot of people this sense of community. Right. I think YouTube gave people same sense of community back in the day. And so like as a wee lass, 10 years old, I was just like, wow, like that could be me someday. If I just get my camera out, my like $80 crappy digital camera.
If you had the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, this would have already been done.
If I would have known about Mel Robbins back in the day,
and the let them,
and the 5-second, and all of it, I probably would have been. I would have been in California right now, with the other YouTubers.
Yeah.
You know what? Make that your motivation to start today.
Yeah.
Whatever your dreams are, start today. Yeah. But it's okay. We have opportunities to
I just
change
also,
our life.
One thing is that it's very oversaturated today. I think.
Well, yes.
The influencers are extremely oversaturated.
I will say it seems now that there is a desire for smaller content creators on platforms like TikTok and YouTube. Like, people are kind of getting tired of the multi-million follower type influencers.
Interesting.
And they're looking for these smaller creators that they can relate to. It's people like you and me that, again, you know, we don't have not that we don't have glamorous lives, but we've got pretty, like, average jobs and lives and things like that, you know. We try to make our lives as glamorous as we can. But
I have to say, Anna, like, and I've never felt like this before, but I feel like I have a glamorous life.
Well, that's good.
Even though, like, I feel like the world is ending in my world, but I finally feel like, holy fuck, I can't believe this is my life.
Well, that's because you've changed your life over the last year. You
work hard as hell to get what you want, and you do whatever you can to get there, and now you get to, like, sit back and be like, damn, this is fucking awesome. This is amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what people are looking for more now, is the smaller creators, folks they can relate to, you know, and supporting them. And I think that's nice. We all have to support each other. And like we said last time, be kind to everyone. So if you see a small creator out there on your TikTok or whatever you're on, give them a like, give them a follow. If you see us come up on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, double follow. Share with your friends. Please share with your friends. That's my shameless plug of the day for social. But with that, why don't we get into some pop culture news of the week, Nikki? It's been a minute since we chatted about pop culture, and there's been some motions happening. But I think most recently, I want to get into the breakup drama of Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell from The Bachelor.
I have no idea who these people are. I've seen so many people post about this girl, and I had to ask one of my friends, who is this? No idea. I think I live under a rock.
No. I will say, I don't watch The Bachelor anymore. I haven't watched The Bachelor in years, like probably pre-COVID.
The last time I watched The Bachelor was for Colton.
That was probably the last time I watched it.
And when he hopped the fence, no pun intended, literally fucking hopped the fence.
Yep.
That the whole season that I fucking watched was a waste of my time.
Yep.
He turned out to be gay.
Yeah. That was a shock.
Yeah.
That was a shock. And since then, the franchise has been going down. It's been going down. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't have an interest or desire. But maybe I will one day.
If they make it good again at some point, maybe we'll go back to it. But
so you didn't watch that?
So I did not watch this season.
Okay.
I did not watch Matt James's season. I know from what I remember at the time, it was a big deal because he was the first black man to be the Bachelor, and this was during COVID. This was during the Black Lives Matter movement. This was a very impactful choice by the Bachelor franchise, ABC at the time. And, you know, it was also COVID time, so they couldn't do, you know, The Bachelor. They usually like to plan all these elaborate international trips where the girls will get to go on special dates with the guy, and they couldn't do that because of COVID. So it was a weird season to begin with, from what I heard. At the end of it, in another non-traditional turn of events, obviously, we all know that the goal of The Bachelor is, at the end of it, you get engaged to one last person left standing. And usually in the past, we've seen a lot of engagements from the franchise. And it's not always that they end up getting married. Sometimes they do break up during the engagement. Sometimes they get married and they get divorced. It's not a surefire way to stay together by any means, but usually the goal is to be engaged by the end of the show. Now, with Matt James and Rachael, they made it all the way to the end of the show, and he did not propose to her. I think he had some commitment issues. I don't know all of the details, but I think he had some trauma from his childhood. I think his dad wasn't very present in his life, and his parents were, divorced, and I think that put a lot of strain on the family and him, and so I think he had a lot of commitment issues.
Why? I've seen this before, that these men and women are having commitment issues, but they go on these shows, and it's just like, why are you wasting everyone's time? Why are you wasting my time as a fucking viewer to view all this bullshit when you're not even ready?
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. There's a million men out there that probably would have taken his position and been on the show and followed through with what they signed up for.
100%. I agree with you that you have to have the intention of getting engaged at the end of it if you're going to be in this position. And
let's say that's also for relationships too.
Yes, for any relationship.
I think that you need to know that this is exactly what you want. You actually want to be in a relationship, that you're actually going to do the duties of a good boyfriend, girlfriend, that you are fully committed. And it's not common today.
No, unfortunately it's not. Unfortunately, there is a lot of dating going on in the world that really doesn't have that commitment tied to it. And it's, some people decide that they're not the marrying type. They don't ever want to get married, and they just want to go about their lives either in a relationship that doesn't involve marriage, and that's fine. There are plenty of people like that in the world, but then there are the relationships where, one person is desiring to get married at some point, and the other person is just kind of along for the ride, and for whatever reason, that's never properly communicated, and then someone gets hurt. Or someone feels like they're getting forced into something that they don't want to be in. And, there's tons of ways that kind of situation can go wrong. And, I think this was one of those situations, unfortunately. So Matt and Rachael, he ended up not proposing on the show, but he did say to her, he does want to be with her. He wants to date her in the real world, no cameras, all of that. Okay. So again, I was watching the Call Her Daddy episode that aired this week with Rachel's interview. And it didn't sound like they had been on and off ever over the last 4 years, but there was definitely a point where they broke up for a little bit. They weren't perfect by any means, but over the last few years, we've seen them on social media, and they've really been an it couple of sorts. They've traveled the world together. Matt James is very big on foodie vlogs and posting content about where he's eating and what he's eating and all of these amazing meals all over the world, in Manhattan, wherever he is. And Rachel's always there with him, along for the ride, doing all of the content with him, all of that. And so a lot of people look to this couple as a successful bachelor couple, in the sense that they have been together for 4 years, and they seemed like they were pretty serious about each other. They were doing all these things together, and it looked like a really good relationship. So now, earlier this month, Matt James posted a picture of him and Rachael from their bachelor days with a very weird, cryptic caption that reads, "Father God, give Rachael and I strength to mend our broken hearts. Give us a peace about this decision to end our relationship that transcends worldly understanding. Shower our friends and family with kindness and love to comfort us, and remind us that our joy comes from you, Lord." Broken heart emoji.
No.
This was intense. Now, he's a very religious person, so that's where
Father God,
that's where all of that's coming from. But it was a very weird post because, again, usually when we see breakup posts aren't an uncommon thing now. We always see celebrities. Zach Bryan. We always see celebrities and influencers posting when they break up with their significant other. They have to put up a post.
No one gives a fuck.
Right. No one does.
I don't care.
Like, let TMZ report it like the old days. We don't need you to go on Instagram and tell us you broke up. Let TMZ find out, and we'll watch it at 6 o'clock at night. It's always on in my house. We love.
I didn't even know that was a thing anymore.
Oh my god! Of course it's still a thing.
Sometimes I see it on my Snapchat, but I didn't know.
The red newsroom.
It's on 6 o'clock at your house.
I don't know if it's actually on at 6 o'clock, but it's on.
I'll come over.
Almost every night. It's on.
I'll watch it with Shelly.
Love TMZ. Oh, she'd love that. So yeah, you know, it's just everybody does these stupid breakup posts now, but this was like a very strangely worded one, and people were waiting for Rachael to put out her post or like respond in some way. It was very out of the blue. It was very like no one was really expecting this. Again, people thought that these two were going to get engaged soon, or you know, whatever. So
could you imagine the breakup post that I would make if I had to make one? Oh my god. We would not be saying Father God. God would not even have to. It couldn't even be mentioned in the same sentence of the shit that I would have to fucking say.
It would have been something along the lines of, "How fucking dare you? Your shit on the bottom of my shoe. I hope you fucking choke. Goodbye."
Goodbye. And God would not be mentioned.
God would not be mentioned.
Even though you need fucking Jesus.
That's
you need Jesus.
God would come in. But
sorry.
No, you're
Continue,
fine.
Anna.
No, you're fine. So basically, there was what was really getting people crazy and talking about this was, again, everybody was shocked about this post, but they were trying to interpret it in a way that was saying it wasn't a breakup post. They were trying to interpret it as, oh, well, he's saying they ended their relationship, but maybe that means they got engaged. Maybe they're going to surprise us. Maybe Rachel's going to come on here and show us the ring soon. Like, people really went like kind of out of left field with this, and they just like totally were making this what they wanted to believe it was, and they wanted to believe this was a hint.
For what?
I don't know. I guess everybody really was banking on this couple to get engaged. Was not an engagement post. There was no, like, then they thought he got hacked because, again, the way this was worded, they thought, oh, maybe someone hacked his Instagram and like is doing this to, you know, mess with him and whatever. Like, we still haven't heard from Rachael.
Can I see what they look like?
Yeah, of course. Oh. This isn't the best picture,
okay,
because they're sideways, but very pretty girl. He's very handsome. You know, he's tall. Yeah. Like, they're a good looking couple, very good looking couple. But you know, again, people were trying to make this something that it wasn't.
Wasn't there something with racism?
Yes. So she, in college, the people came across her pictures from college of like, I don't know the correct terminology for it, but she was basically in like, I think a Southern Belle type outfit as part of like, I don't know if it was her sorority or some other organization she was involved in on her school at the time. I know she lives in Georgia now. I think she may be from Georgia. I don't know if she went to school in Georgia.
Wasn't that the same thing with Pookie?
Pookie as well, yes.
Ugh.
I guess this is like a thing.
What are we doing?
I know. I guess this is like a thing in southern states.
Okay.
I don't know how much of this still goes on after the last few years and the, you know, activism that's been going on. But they found these pictures of her, the internet, because the internet finds everything. You know, one day someone's going to find a tweet from me and it's not going to, I don't know what it's going to say, but someone's going to find some kind of tweet from me.
I was just tweeting to try and get Nick Jonas's attention. Don't come after me.
And it's going to be about the most stupid thing because I've never said anything compromising on Twitter, but someone's going to try and cancel me. But yeah, so they like brought that up, and obviously because he's a black man, they tried to say like, how could you be with her knowing this about her? And that's what caused them to break up around the time that like his season of The Bachelor was ending. So they did break up for a little bit. They ended up getting back together. And so for the last few years, they've been going strong. So now we've been hearing bits and pieces about Rachael's position in all of this. You know, her sources had said she was blindsided by this whole thing, and like this it was a breakup and all of this. We didn't get the full side of her story until this week when she was on Call Her Daddy. And let me tell you something. The devil works hard, but Alex Cooper works harder. I truly believe that this girl, I don't know who she's got on her team, but the way she gets people on her show like that when something happens is crazy. Because I guarantee you, I mean, this girl her agent had to be getting requests from everybody for comment on this breakup. That's just when celebrity news hits like this, celebrity influencer, whatever you want to call her, news hits like this, the media goes crazy. They got to get comments. They got to get interviews. They want to be the first ones to report on what she has to say. Mm-hmm. So I know that her agent was turning away things left and right, I'm sure. The fact that Alex Cooper got her is just a testament to her place in the media these days. Like, people really see her as a credible, reliable source, and they are willing to air out all of their grievances on her show. Crazy to me. You know, when you think about where she started years ago at Barstool.
Gluck, gluck.
The gluck, gluck. We went from that to now she's unveiling all of these celebrities' biggest secrets.
I've only listened to her when she was giving me advice about the gluck, gluck, and let me tell you, it works. That's it. That is all. I have not listened to anything since.
Never forget your roots. Never forget your roots. Alex Cooper. So anyway, so she went on Call Her Daddy last night. And she confirmed that they're broken up. And she basically gave the whole story of how, like, what happened. So essentially, she is also someone who deals with a lot of anxiety. And I think she felt a lot of pressure because Matt James is such a big foodie content creator and whatnot. Always kind of felt pressure to, like, pick good places to eat, especially when they would travel. So she said that they were in Tokyo earlier this month on a trip, and she was trying to look for a new restaurant for them to go to eat because she had one picked out, the reservation fell through, something happened, she needed a backup option. So she's kind of sitting there on her phone trying to search for different restaurants, somewhere good, somewhere that she knows they're going to get a good meal and he can get good content of it. And she's like freaking out because it's like she's got to make sure she picks a good spot. If she doesn't pick a good spot, there's no good menu.
Could you imagine this being your only fucking problem?
I mean, I wish. Trust me, I would pick good food spots.
This is literally fucking comical to me, but okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
I couldn't interview this bitch. I'd be like literally fucking pelting her with my microphone. But okay.
Anyway, so she's worried about this, and then he's kind of there like, oh, like, did you find somewhere to eat, whatever? And she's like, oh, like, I don't know, I'm trying to find a good spot, whatever. And he's like, oh, no, like, whatever is good. She finds a spot to eat, they go. It's not the experience she wanted. It's not a great spot.
That's so sad.
I don't know, I mean,
what a tragedy.
You're in Tokyo. I can't imagine you're not finding good food in Tokyo. Anywhere outside of the US is gonna have good food. So whatever. She kind of got all, like, again, anxious about that, overwhelmed with that. And she ended up, like, kind of breaking down a little bit, crying over it. And he was like, well, why are you upset over this? Like, why are you crying about this? And she explained, you know, I want to make sure you get good content and this and that. And he was like, oh, like don't worry about it. But I'm saying it probably nicer than he said it, just from how she spoke about it in this interview. And then it was a few days later, they were out again, and they seemed to be, like, irritated with each other for whatever reasons. They end up skipping lunch plans that they had, going back to their hotel, and like she sat down with him and talked about it and was like, oh, like, you know, like we're clearly like annoyed with each other right now, like let's talk about it, let's like figure this out, whatever. And it was then that he basically broke up with her and decided and said to her, you know, like, I don't see this moving forward, I don't see us ever getting engaged, I don't see myself married to you. And it's still unclear like what prompted him to say this, whether it was this freak out she had the couple days before, because I think she had said something like, he had said something along the lines of like, well, if you're freaking out over like a restaurant to go eat at, what are you going to do when we have real problems in life? And
I agree.
I'm not saying he's wrong. You know, I could see both sides of it. And so, you know, it seemed like that was a factor in it, but I think there was also, he probably was feeling this way for some time. I mean, people don't wake up one day and are just like, no, I'm never going to marry this person. I'm just going to like break up with them right now. Like that's something you have to be feeling for a while before it actually comes out. But it was a big shock to her because she had said they had talked about getting engaged. They had talked about having children, moving in together. They didn't live together this whole 4 years that they were together. You know, they had talked about taking all of these steps to move their relationship forward, and him coming out and being like, no, like we're not doing this, was a huge shock to her. So she said she had already had plans anyway to leave Tokyo that day. He was staying in Tokyo. I think was going to another country by himself, who knows. But she had to be home anyway. So she got broken up with, gets in the car, is, you know, hysterical crying on her way to the airport. She's still like in shock, has no idea what's going on. And then she said that for some reason her phone like never connects to airplane Wi-Fi. So she goes on these long flights and she's totally off the grid. So right before her flight took off, he made this post. And he didn't give her a heads up that he was making this post. He didn't say anything that this was going up. She didn't even see it on Instagram herself first. She got sent it by a friend who was like, what's going on? So now she's on this flight, and that's a long flight. It's like, I think she said it was like 12 hours. No phone, no access to Wi-Fi, nothing. And she has no idea what is being said about her on the internet. She has no idea what her friends are thinking. She has no idea what her family's thinking. Like, she's had no chance to talk to anyone about what happened. Like, this literally, he breaks up with her. 2 hours later, he puts up this post, and she's on a flight and totally disconnected from the world. And so she said she got home, and she just, like, immediately went to bed. She just, like, you know, she stayed in her house for a couple days. Like, she just could not be bothered with anyone. And this is fresh. This is, like, she's on, like, week 2 of this post-breakup life. And so, you know, she's in this stage of now just trying to move past it, trying to, like, make peace with it. It's still, again, very fresh and new and upsetting. But the whole point of the interview really was, like, there are so many people, not even just women, but people out there in relationships that are really never going anywhere, but we think that they are because we're being told differently by our partners. Like, we're being told by people, you know, we're gonna get engaged soon. We're gonna, you know, get married within this time frame. We're gonna have kids someday. Like, all of this, and these, you know, women, men, whoever in these relationships are believing it and holding on to it. But she also said that there were, like, some things he did throughout the relationship that were kind of like red flags that she didn't really think too much of, and didn't say, like, oh, well, like, maybe he's not the guy for me. I can't really think of what they were off the top of my head, but, you know, she did mention that, like, there were some things from time to time that he either said or did that it was like, oh, like, you know, I don't know how I feel about that, but I really love him and I want to be with him, and so, like, I'm just gonna let it go. And so, like, that's, that happens with a lot of people too, is you just get kind of comfortable with these behaviors because you, again, are planning a future with that person. And that's the scary thing, is like in an instant it can be taken away from you with, a breakup like this. So, it's a crazy situation. No, that's like, that would kill me.
That's horrible.
Like, not being able to at least say to your friends and family, like, I don't know why he put this out so soon, but yes, like, we did break up. Like, it's like literally just broke up. I'm on my way home. Like, I just, like, give me a couple days when I get back.
The fact that he even, like, had the strength to, like, make that post and do that is, like, it probably was planned in his mind for a while that, like, how do you just, like, make a post about a breakup?
Right.
That's just so strange to me.
Yeah. And she did say that they have talked since then, and he apologized for the way he did it, and, like, he said, like, that wasn't the right thing to do, and
I wouldn't even let him talk to me. I wouldn't even give him the time of day.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even give him the time of day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she seems like she's smart enough to not ever go back to him or anything like that if he tried. Like, it's like, in her mind, it's done, it's finished. Like, she could never be with somebody who did something like that to her. So, I think the net of the episode was, again, just like,
and then you're making a fool of yourself on the internet. Like, you made this post. Nobody's gonna, well, maybe there is probably somebody out there that wants to be in a relationship with this guy, but, like, who's gonna want to ever start something with this man?
Well, it's the same thing like Zach Bryan. He's got a girlfriend now.
Oh.
He's with some fan that,
A fan?
I think it's a fan. I believe so. Don't quote me on it. But he is with somebody new, and it's like, you can't tell me that this girl doesn't know what happened with him and Brianna.
But I'm sure, like, she's not anticipating anything serious
True.
to come out of it.
I would hope not.
She's probably just there along for the ride, and unfortunately, these men are never going to find a good woman and find anything of substance again.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I mean, you could fucking put a ring on it, and that doesn't mean that they're going to be a husband or a wife to you. So,
that's that's the important thing to consider when you're with somebody and you are talking about planning a life together. Is this person going to be a good husband? Is he going to support me? And that goes far beyond financial support. Like, is he going to support my dreams, my hopes, my wishes, my family, the kids?
You know what I've always thought about? And, like, someone mentioned it too, that they thought about this. I think I saw a video on TikTok, but I literally always thought about this. Like, and I hate to say it out loud because it feels weird, but, like, God forbid, like, something happened to my parents.
Yes.
Would this person be able to help me? Would they be able to get me through the worst day of my entire life?
Right.
And I have not found that in anybody that have gotten me through, like, even a bad day.
Yeah.
So the hard conversations, tough conversations, being there for someone, good days, bad days. I don't think a lot of people realize what it takes or even have what it takes.
Yeah.
To do that.
It's a commitment. It's a commitment that goes far beyond sharing bills, sharing kids, like all of these things that we, like, our surface level when it comes to a marriage and a relationship. You do really have to lean on that person and know that that person is your support system, you're theirs. Like, it's a full team effort through life. So, let this be a lesson to folks. Like, keep an eye out. Obviously, if you're in a relationship and you are in the mindset that it's going to move forward at some point in the future, have a conversation with your partner at some point. Make sure you're both on the same page. Make sure you're both in agreement on where you want things to go. This, again, seemed like a very kind of out of the blue thing for her, but she said there were things he did that she didn't love. And so if you feel like you see those signs in people, watch out.
I'm not forgiving or letting past any of that anymore. I'm not looking past any of those things anymore. I feel like in past relationships, like there was things that would like bother me and I would just hold them in, and then you realize it's just like, actually this is really bothering me and I'm not going to be able to put up with this anymore. Or the little red flags that you let go of turn into way bigger things down the line. So for me, any tiny red flag is just, it's a red flag no matter what. It's still red.
You got to have your boundaries, especially again with something as important as deciding who you're going to spend your life with. And I'm a big proponent of, there are things that, you know, people may do that you can get past. They're stupid, they're little things, and like if you really love someone, you're willing to get past certain things. But there are huge red flags in people, and even like you said, small red flags that you really should take a look at closer and make sure that that's not something that's going to bite you in the ass, and you know, in the long run. So, you know, I feel for her.
Yeah,
it's a tough situation. It sucks. You spend a lot of time with somebody and you think it's going one way when it goes the other. But life's gonna go on.
The world kept spinning.
There will be other men out there. Hopefully one that doesn't make you so anxious when you're trying to find a restaurant to go to for dinner. We don't want that in the next relationship for you, girl. So, but with that, I think it's time we close up this one. Thank you everyone for listening this week. Thanks for sipping and spilling with us. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, give us a comment, share with your friends. If you're watching on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, same thing. Give us a like, give us a follow, share with your friends. Please share with your friends. We will be back next week with another episode, and we will be back with more topics, more guests coming up in the next few weeks. We've got some good things planned for you guys. And yeah, just be sure to tune in next time.
Yep.
All right.
Cheers, Anna.
Cheers to that.